lòṣe.
Èrúra èrúra ká iṣẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wà lọ́ba mi ẹ ṣe tí yẹyẹ èmi ò lọ́wọ́ lòṣe.
Èrúra èrúra ká iṣẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wà lọ́ba mi ẹ ṣe tí yẹyẹ èmi ò lọ́wọ́ lòṣe.
Èrúra èrúra ká iṣẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wà lọ́ba mi ẹ ṣe tí yẹyẹ èmi ò lọ́wọ́ lòṣe.
Èrúra èrúra ká iṣẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wà lọ́ba mi ẹ ṣe tí yẹyẹ èmi ò lọ́wọ́ lòṣe.
Èrúra èrúra ká iṣẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wà lọ́ba mi ẹ ṣe tí yẹyẹ èmi ò lọ́wọ́ lòṣe.
Ancestors, we call on you to fight the fight on our behalf. Ancestors, we call on you to walk on our enemies. Asheo. All the way from Africa land, they come in, they come in. All the way from Africa land, they come in to walk on them. All the way from Africa land, they come in, they come in. All the way from Africa land, they come in to walk on them. Walk on them, 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 walk on them. Yoruba ancestors, 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 walk on them, walk on them, walk on them, walk
pẹ̀lẹ́kẹ́ òkú ìgbọ́nà bákèrè olówó ẹ̀yọ̀ èṣù ní kórè wá ẹlẹ́gbàrà ní kò bí lọ pẹ̀lẹ́kẹ́ ní dàrá orò sáwò nílé èṣù máa ṣẹ́ mi ọmọ ẹ̀lẹ́ omi ní òṣè èṣù máa ṣẹ́ wa. èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀ èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀ pẹ̀lẹ́kẹ́ èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀ èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀ èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀ pẹ̀lẹ́kẹ́. Nobody can take my joy away. I am born to be happy. Everything ORISA supply for me is enough to be jolly. God no need to be worried, no. Cause life is a blessing, no. My life is a blessing, no. Eshu deo deo, eshu deo deo, eshu deo deo. Asana. Eshu deo deo, eshu deo deo, eshu deo deo. Agena. Every morning I awake, I give thanks to my Ori. Eshu lanu humans, all doors open up for me. Bad energies, no room for you, oh no. All good things is I must get through. Ọmọ ẹ̀ ló ìran ní òṣè. Ọ̀la ìlú, èṣù bá ní kọ̀ ọ̀wọ́ ìlú. Òró ìlú, ọ̀la ìlú. Ọba ẹ̀ bọ̀rà nílẹ̀ kẹ́tọ́. Èṣù ìbẹ́ bọ̀ orúkún. Ẹlẹ́gbàrà ní bẹ́ bọ̀ òrùsà. Ẹlẹ́gbàrà ní bẹ́ bọ̀ orúkún òrùsà. Oníbòde. Èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀. Èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀. Èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀. Pẹ̀lẹ́kẹ́. Èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀. Èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀. Èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀. Èṣù dẹ́ọ̀. Èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀. Èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀. Èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀. Èṣù dẹ́ bàbá. Èṣù dẹ́ bàbá. Èṣù dẹ́ bàbá.
Obatala yepa, Obatala yepa, yepa, Obatala yepa, yepa, Obatala yepa, yepa, Obatala yepa, Udaro to each and everyone on the Sheet 919 FM. We are here on another beautiful Monday in the marketplace. You know, we are here again to edify, educate, and bring understanding and upliftment to the public, the listening public, the streaming public about IFA ORISA, how we have life.
That's right.
You know, we are in a bit a sad time, but all shall be well. All will be well. All will be well. So I ask for issue to open the doorway for us to carry about the show, and so we always carry it about where we can converse, educate, and relay messages to each and every one. You know, pray that Baba Ogun continue with the technology to make this show reach far parts of the earth.
That's right.
You know, where people can hear and understand, not only in Trinidad and Tobago. I ask Kabiesi Shango for justice,
That's right.
for this show, for my guest, Baba Mello, my co-host, my brother, always have my back.
That's right.
My Udu encyclopedia. Shaka, you know.
Yes,
Also, my brother IFA Taishe, who's always there supporting. We are streaming live on the Sheet 919 FM Facebook page. We are streaming live on the YouTube. You know, we had a little technical difficulties last week, but it has been fixed. Unless I just say good night to Jamie Simmons, David Albert, Ayomedi Solomon, Simone Darius, that's Lisa, Warrior Lisa, Angie St. Paul,
good night, Angie.
Aina, Ifayole Lubion, you know, everybody streaming. Olumbe, my brother Olumbe Diaz, he's on, people. Nail Khan, Ingrid Iya, Sanko farm she's on, you know. So I pay respects to all the elders of my space, the Mother's House of Knowledge located in Kunupi, IFA Lashe, and all the elders there. I pay respect to all the elders in all shrines, Iles Palace in Trinidad and Tobago. I pay respect to my Yanifa, my Ya, Olori Oboya Baye in Nigeria, who is on looking on. You know, my guest tonight is Baba Mello. We continue the discussion about Oikumeji. You know, so I just like to pay respects to the Shaka, elders, you know.
Ekali, Trinidad and Tobago, pleasant night. Pleasant night to all my elders. I give homage to Olodumare. Olodumare, the universal spirit that guides all things,
Ashe.
according to Okaran Wari.
Ashe.
We give thanks to Olodumare for what is and what will be.
Ashe.
IFA says we know yesterday, we know today, but we don't know tomorrow. That is why we consult IFA, so that we could know what would happen tomorrow.
Bene.
So we give thanks today for the blessing we shall receive tomorrow. Even though we are going through this turbulent time in the COVID-19,
Bene.
IFA would see us through once we do what we have to do as a people.
Ashe.
Let us give respect where respect is due. Let us obey the law of the laws of this land. Let us not engage in activities that would bring untimely death to us.
Ashe.
Because IFA wants us to live to a ripe old age when we could sit back and put our backs on the mats of comfort and stroke our gray hairs.
Benny.
Not only on our face, but on our head.
Ashe.
So it tells us that IFA wants us to be responsible. I pay homage to my Uluwo, my Yanifa, my Ujubona. I give homage to my parents. And not only my parents, but the parents of every single person in this land of Trinidad and Tobago, and even the region, and even those who are locked on in other parts of the world. I give respect to you, parents.
Benny.
I give respect to Orunmila Barami Agboniregu, who is also known as Ibikeji Olodumare, the second in command to Olodumare. I give homage to Orunmila because it is Orunmila who stood with me when I knelt to choose my destiny.
Ashe.
And he did that for each and every one of us who has a destiny. And all of us have a destiny.
Ashe.
So we give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks to this land of Trinidad and Tobago.
Benny.
May Mother Earth not swallow us up in anger. May Mother Earth sustain us with joy, because Mother Earth's joy would be shown to us when we show Mother Earth respect.
Ashe.
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe wa. Benny.
So, we just like to, before I bring Baba Mello into the fray, we just like to pay some bills to the sponsors who keep making this show a success. And I like to say that Brother Kamara, I mean, it touched me. I get up off my bed. You know, I was lying down watching TV, and I got up off my bed, and it rocked me. This one, Shaka. I think I tried to call you one. Oh, you call me.
I call you, yeah.
You call me, because since this program has been in inception, IFA Lashe put me on to, IFA Lashe put me on to Kamara, and he said, son, you deal with Kamara. Kamara has been sponsoring the show. Kamara has been sponsoring the show. Would I wrote Chesem Baba Arela Fakayode is on the live.
Ashe.
You know? Kamara, I mean, watch me, it hurt. Up to now, it hurt me. The man is so gentle. He's so kind. I mean, at times, I forget and he will call me, Baba, thing, come down now, come for the little. That man has never missed a sponsorship. As small as it is, he will say, Baba, come. I committed myself. The last conversation I had with Mr. Kamara, he said, brother, I want to do more. But when all is done, I go do more.
Wow.
So may Kamara, brother Kamara, may his ancestors welcome him.
Ashe.
May he have a smooth transition into the ancestral realm.
Ashe.
May we always pour libation and may we always remember him. He was a man for the arts. He was a man for African culture. He was supportive. Since I mean, Kamara.
And most emancipation shows in other Spain, he always had a tent, you know. One of the biggest tents he always had with a lot of African artifacts, and he was always willing to give knowledge of certain things concerning African spirituality and tradition. So his labor was not in vain. He came, he did it.
Yes.
And
he
left the world in a better place than him.
Yes, Ashe Benny, you know. Babarela Fakayo, this says my cousin Kamara was a great man, and may his family carry on this legacy. His legacy, his way. You know, he's now in the ancestral realm to help us fight the good fight.
Ashe.
You know, so, Brother Kamara, may you have a safe journey. So we're going to pay bills, you know, because I always say it, I ain't say it for a long while. People, we need to support the IFA ORISA way of life. You know, we're not asking for $1 million, but smaller. I mean, if all they don't want to pass it on to myself or Shaka, or they could send it straight to Chini Bashment Limited. You know, straight to Chini Bashment, you know, because we want to keep this, we want to keep our, once COVID restrictions lower, we want to carry it downstairs next month, month and June, for the year celebration of IFA ORISA way of life.
Sure.
Where all the Babas, all the years and IFAs, I invite them to come through, to say something. We have drumming. I'm a big artist, Shaka and all the other perform. You know, everybody will be passing through from a first guest, IFA Porere Sean sing, go right back down to Baba Mello here. Agba Bud, Everett Watson, Chief Oram Frey, Baba Adelon, you know, Baba Mitchell, you know, I will get them to come out, you know,
all
because
the mothers too.
all the mothers, yes, all the mothers, you know.
Yeah, Hussein.
Yes, all.
Yeah, Omi.
Yes.
All the years.
You know, we want to have a grand celebration from 7 straight till 10 on that episode, the year celebration episode, you know, because it's not easy in the marketplace. It is not easy. The amount of things me and Shaka does have to go through, but I'm going to pay some bills. You know, by the time this load up here, I don't understand why this like this. You know? Wow. So it has I lost it. So Shaka, your sponsors.
The IFA ORISA way of life is kindly sponsored by Omo Inu. Omo Inu is the Women's Haven distributor for women's yoni products in this land of Trinidad and Tobago and even the region. They are on Facebook, they are also on Instagram. You can also find them on all forms of social media. The IFA ORISA way of life is also sponsored by the Lock Duck.
Yes.
The Lock Duck for all your dreadlock repairs, and even if someone wants to start their dreadlocks, they can contact the Lock Duck. You can find them on Facebook and also on Instagram. We also have the Ogun Oshun vegetable mart that is located on O'Mara Road, Arima. You can find them on the corner of Printreville and O'Mara Road. You can pass there from as early as 5:30 in the morning, and you can get fresh local vegetables and provision. In this COVID-19 time, stock up on the veggies, stock up on the good food, and let us build and preserve our immune systems.
Alkaline the body.
Ashe. So support local, and thank you to our sponsors, Amoinu, the Lock Duck, and the Ogunashun Vegetable Mart. Ashe.
Yes, so sponsors also for IFA ORISA Way of Life, Nice Nuts Quinlan brand, bottled coconut water, the best coconut water in the land, tin full of sugar. Number so call 716-6396. And I will say this, I will not remove Kamara's name from on this show.
Ashe.
I will continue calling Kamara as a sponsor on this show.
Ashe.
I am not looking for anything, but I will keep him on this show because he has been a pilot in sponsoring the show. So Kamara's Culture Store, the #1 important supplier of genuine products from Africa, located at Adams Bazaar Main Road. Contact numbers 672-8438, 320-8866. Gossip Gel Polish 382-7587. Petty by Receipt 398-4474. Temple Ojuba Orisha Umilu, Egypt Village Shagwanas. That's by Baba Adelan. Nubian Experience, clothing that tells part of our rich African history. Number 6 Woodford Street, Arima. Contact number 688-1979. Oriomi, Nicole Huggins, Health and Wealth Lifestyle, number 73 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. Onyx Trading, Wholesale and Retail Minimart, number 1 Cemetery Street, Dego Martin.
We also have the Throne of Gold. Now, the Throne of Gold is a sponsor who sells African hair products, African skin products. Her contact number is 754-5128, and she also sells a delicious local jam made from all local fruits, from Pumps Ite to Hamarak to guava to cherry local
The full works.
cherries. So that's the Throne of Gold. You can find her on Facebook and also on Instagram. Her contact number is 754-5128. Iyabemisuke. Thank you.
Also, the IFA School of Enlightenment.
Yes.
You can get on to Nzinga Reed. She's here, one of the main persons there. We having a little hiccup with the phone with the sponsors addresses and all these things, so it will be sorted out. So the IFA School of Enlightenment also, right, people? So we're going right into it. Our discussion tonight is Uiku Meiji, Mother of the Spirit of Death. Let us not deceive those with whom we make community. Let us not break oath with our companions. Let us not do this because of our eventual passing. So Baba Mello, I say welcome again. It's a privilege. It's a privilege to have you make that journey from Point 14. You was here last week, and I asked you if you can come back. You was willing. You didn't hesitate. Thank you. Thank you again. So the floor is yours, Baba Mello.
First, I say Aboraboye. Again, thank you for having me again. There's looking at what has transpired throughout this period, and recently hearing this new death of losing our brother Kamara. Basically, it's always the first point closest to send people, and then after our brother African House, Avery Amon.
Yes.
And what was so nice as well, brother could have still been in business, but they may compete, but not vicious competition. If Kamara don't have, he send you by Avery. If you don't have, you say check Kamara. And this is what the IFA ORISA tradition is really about. In South Africa, they call it Mobuntu. I am because we are.
Ashe.
That is always the phrase. I am because we are.
Sure.
Look at that Oyeku. Oyeku really is represent darkness, but it really gives you the understanding of darkness and the solution how to come out of that darkness.
Sure.
It is terms of we are in a dark period, but there's a solution.
Facts.
I just blame myself as a person in politics in terms of when it comes to national issues, when it comes to situation when our country in a dark space. Because within my circle, they respect me as a Baba and say, oh, Baba, what do you think? But what we think, it cannot go out in society, because if collectively we as a community had a voice to tell people what is the solution, how to come out of this darkness, we can say, if somebody say, let's have a prayer for peace or a prayer for healing, a prayer day, they would gladly join in. But when we really say, let us do what we have to do according to the way the universe is operating, we're in a new era, we're in a new dispensation, we're in a new age. And we have not really tapped into that understanding as a community. We say we enter in the Aquarian age. We have people who would understand the astrology and enter into the new age. But they're also talking about entering this period, the 5-dimensional resonating of our consciousness. Earlier this year, it had a situation where a sister, they said they went to do some prayers at the sea. And she took off all her clothes and she went in and she drowned in the ocean, in the sea.
That was like a month ago.
Yeah. And people are saying, so nobody could have helped. Nobody could have saved she. But we don't understand what frequency was she connecting with in that period of that spiritual connections. Because as spiritualists, we're supposed to see that as a different thing. Equal is supposed to be our friend. But if we're living in the proper way and following our destiny and living in alignment, he'll be our best friend, because he will only come when it is appointed and agreed upon that we're supposed to pass on. But when we are not sharing our wisdom or understanding as ours, and really hearing the voice of those of the high authority, or Olus or Babalaos and others, not trying to put them on spot, but they're saying we have to really get people to truly understand this concept when they talk about IFA, ORISA way of life. It is not only the religious aspect of us worshiping, but it goes way beyond that. We're supposed to be cultural people or traditional people. And religion comes out of your tradition. We try to be religious and then try to put our tradition into the religion. That's how I'm saying. Our tradition is this. Who's our Isheshe? All of them are Isheshe. Who's Isheshe? Your Ishas is Isheshe. Your mother is your Isheshe, your father is your Isheshe. Your tradition, your whole principle of life is your tradition, is your Isheshe. We just try to put the religion as we Isheshe and then try to live our life. But if we put the tradition first, the principles of the tradition, even in that, Brother Kamara has passed. He said in his previous, he wanted to do more. It was not only a wish, it is a challenge for us all supposed to be willing to do more. Because we see in this life now, we need to do more. Things are happening and we are not really putting the extra effort in taking that extra step, in making this Trinidad and Tobago in its own, then extension to the world, the way it's supposed to be in its balanced state.
Right.
With our spirituality, with our physical being, with our thing. We are spirit being having our earthly experiences, a mantra a lot of people are using conveniently. If I'm a spirit being, having an earthly experience, then I don't really need to fight to study about spirit. I am a spirit. I need to, how do I align myself to operate at the function in which I'm supposed to operate, my highest beingness. And this is why Oyeku does bring us out. Ogbezi like, the intelligence. Oyeku comes as the physical, the solidity. How do we now live in that balance of being in tune with our being as spiritual being, having earthly experiences? Come here, say it. Here's just a marketplace. We come here for a little while to go back home to our heaven. And going back home, you're supposed to go and see of our contributions that we made while here in making it better. You know, when I left, they were trying to do something. And now that I reached back, I could boast that we have gotten through. You know, there's really creation story where they say all the 17 Orishas came to IE to form the earth. And they did not include the 17th, which was Oshun. And all what they tried, they had us to go back. Well, Maya said they'd only consult with Oshun. They said, well, you know, I don't want to use the term, but you know, but as they just passed. But they didn't pay importance of collectively everybody had a part to do in that creation story. And he sent them back. Now, your heavy religions talks about reincarnation. So did not these Orishas or Iromales was reincarnated to come back to see if they could find a solution, because they left the world worse than they met it. They didn't make a contribution, did. So they had also go back and try to fix it. When they did fix it, by collectively working with Oshun, they could go back and give a good report. We all have to follow. Every story of IFA, every story of Orisha is our story. It's we to see how do we see ourselves in the stories of the Orishas.
Sure.
How do we see ourselves in the words of the Iromales or the words of IFA? You know, there's a shout, well, I can respond to it. Every wo ya.
Ayagbo,
Every wo ya.
Ayagbo, Ayato.
Every wo ya.
Ayagbo, Ayato, Ayamo, Ayalo.
Every time we gather, that is our purpose to gather. How do we be healthy? How do we live long? How do we eat well? How do we gain wealth? Every time we gather, this is supposed to be our purpose. Just as the Orimales coming from Oruntai, they came together that they could construct and do what they have to do. But the darkness, those things, or you could be termed like ego. The darkness that hinders us from shining the light that we have to shine. You know? And most people just go study essays in terms of just seeing what is the magic or what is the able to do to them. But it's the principles in which people are supposed to apply themselves. In one essay, Oyeku, Orimila said, I'm going to father something big. And the father 3 sons. One was the market, one was road, and one was house. Orimila left and he went on a journey. And then his coming, his children decided to prepare a celebration for him. So he came into the market and he ate well and he fully belly. And he said he need to relieve of himself. See, no,
He couldn't stay.
can't take that here back. Next on road, came and he welcomed him, feed him, give him much more things to eat and eat well and thing. I need to relieve myself. Could not relieve himself. They stood at the youngest son's house, came, prepared a sumptuous meal, treated his father well. And I said, well, oh, I need to relieve myself. He said, no problem, he opened the door. He said, go ahead and do that room. And he relieved himself till the room was over full, he closed the door. Left in the next room. He need to relieve himself again, put him in the next room. But because Orisha is saying, you don't relieve ourselves in the marketplace. You don't relieve ourselves in the roadway. But we relieve ourselves in our house. But I say, when the rooms that he went in, all his blessings, all the blessings for his son was in those rooms when he went to clean it. So if I say all that you do outside in the road, all that you do outside in the marketplace, all the blessings supposed to come back in our home.
Benny.
As Oyiku also speaks as when the day come at the evening, everybody, all your blessings comes in the evening, in the darkness of the evening. In the daylight you run about to work, you leave your child at home, you leave your wife at home, you leave everything, and you go out. And in the evening time, you go home to really comfort and really feel the blessings of the day.
But I want to take a verse here out of the IFA forestry, you know. I've been looking at it, you know, and really understanding certain parts of the storyline of Oyiku Meiji. The verse speaks of silence of contemplation, the need for reflection in order to allow ourselves to become known to us. This brings a recognition of who we truly are through the death of false ideas and ideals. It comes with an admonition to conduct ourselves with gentleness. In other words, to be true to ourselves. It always has the effect of bestowing kindness upon our surroundings so that our children can bless our memory and feel pride when they remember our legacy. This Udu is the root cause of melancholy, a condition referred to by the multiple meanings given to the word dudu, dark or black. This is a color of mystery and concealment. Not knowing who we are or where we are going invites blackness into our life. The challenge lies in not falling in love with one's depression or dark moods, but in using this condition to reach our potential. Dark moods lead us towards the edges of our being, a condition where we feel alive because death is so close. This is a fire of protection risen within. It tells us that we are mud and clay in a process of metamorphosis. This is a spirit of the mother of death, the wise compass that directs our way. We should show caution and not mistake the spirit of death for death itself. Death, Iku, is a dread power, the end of the human condition, the grim reaper himself.
You know, IFA tells us that death, as Baba Mello was saying, is a benevolent thing. For once a person is living in according to their destiny and their purpose, every single time a person is born into this world, there is an appointed time when they are supposed to go back.
Ben.
There are verses in IFA that tells us that Iku was initiated into IFA and all of those things.
Callers, we will be opening the lines at 8:15. We'll be taking calls at 8:15, right? We just want to keep it flowing, and then we'll open the lines at 8:15. For 10 minutes, we'll go back into conversation again and do it like that, right? So, caller who call in, just hold out till 8:50.
Yes. So there are verses in IFA that tells us that Iku was initiated into IFA, and Iku found out his or her purpose from doing IFA initiation. So when we hear about Oyiku Meiji and we're speaking about out of darkness into her light, and we had established at the start of the program that even though Oyiku comes, it comes with a solution. It spells out to all of us as a people that without a sense of direction, you would be in darkness. When a child is born into this world and they do not have a sense of purpose and a sense of direction, it is then that person is in darkness. It's when a person is not living their true sense and purpose of what they were designed and created for. It's when they are wallowing in darkness.
Really?
Because for us as a people, we are in this period of the COVID-19. A lot of people would see it as a period of gloom and doom, where a lot of people are going back home But IFA gave us direction of how to comport ourselves during this time.
Ben.
IFA tells us that at the end of this, the economy would come back. You believe that?
Yes.
I believe that. You know why? Because Olodumare, Barami, Oneregun, Orunmela witnessed that. And they are telling us that beyond the scope of the COVID-19, there would be the sunlight for us as a people, for us to reap the benefits of our hard work.
Ah, sure.
So even though a lot of people may be out of a job now, maybe going through a little hard time now, hold on. There is direction that will take us out of this light. Oyeku Meiji tells us about the power of making sacrifices in order to be victorious over all forms of negativity. And right now, the sacrifice for most people is obeying the laws of the land.
Ben.
Going out when you are supposed to, and ensuring that you do not betray your household, because Oyeku Meiji, A.G. Oye, speaks about betrayal. You go out there, you compromise yourself,
Your family.
you'll also compromise your family. So we have to be in tune with the philosophy of the Orisha.
Ben.
The Orisha is whom we look to for guidance. And when they tell us something, it is not to put us in a lesser position, but it's there to uplift and to elevate us. Baba Mello spoke about the purpose of the market, the purpose of the road, and all of that. We need to honestly know our place. There are certain things that we as a people, what we will do in the road, what we will do in the market, we have to respect our homes.
Benny.
We need to respect our homes.
Yes.
IFA tells us about respect. And that is how marvelous of a tradition that was inspired upon our ancestors by Olodumare, the Irumole, and the Orisha, that it's now manifesting in all of us. Asheo.
Because when you look at the world today, a lot of people giving up.
Yeah.
A lot of people throwing in the towel and not attacking anyone's denomination, anyone's community.
You can't throw in towel to me, share.
I watch the news today, Al Jazeera, and I saw people in India throwing away their multis. They're throwing away the statues. They're just throwing away things. They say that how they're praying and it ain't protecting them from the COVID. And I sit down and I watch that. I was on my way to do something and I just end up stumbling upon that. And I say to myself, because I put something on Facebook, COVID, leave this marketplace now. Kokomara really hit me for 6. Right? And I tell my brother that.
Yeah. It was related.
And you feel it's not tests we going through here to see who is the real followers, who is the real believers.
I was coming right there.
You're gonna be getting up every morning, pouring your libation, calling your ancestors, calling your Orisha, and something happen on your ball. But every day I pour libation to you, boy. but we're really going on. But if you just take 2 minutes and understand and really dress back, patience, humility, and respect, that is IFA, it go be better. So I saying that to say to our people, it go have a backlash to that. That way they do, they go have a backlash. I'm saying that on the radio. But we need, and we just always say it, obey the laws of the land and do the right thing, boy.
Yeah.
I just want to go back on the ICU. ICU being initiated. For my listeners, many who really don't understand IFA yet or the concept of IFA. ICU being initiated into IFA don't mean ICU is given elekes and given a name. It is saying that ICU is now guided under the principle, the words of God, the words of Olodumare. This is your purpose, this is your principle, this is your duty. Just as in one of the Christian story, Baba Olodumare called, Ogun would come. He said, Ogun, this is what you're going to do. Ocean will come, he said, Ocean, this is what you're going to do. As all the Orishas came, he told him, this is what you're going to do. So in terms of when we say certain things were initiated, IFA, they were now set on their principle, set on their guidance. Remember, he said, IFA lolo ni, IFA lolo, la IFA lo tun la pelwe, IFA rules today, IFA rules tomorrow, IFA rules the day after tomorrow. So everything under initiating IFA means this is given the guidance of IFA. So wherever it does, good or bad, however you see it, it is following the way of IFA.
The guidance, the principle.
This is why we say it's a way of life.
Sure.
You know. Now, it is true to say we have to follow the ways of the land. That was it you will do 2020, 2021. But you say Modu also speaks that oppressors, rulers, persons of high office, be truthful and stop oppressing your people.
Yes.
Do that which is right for your people to move forward. If they do not know what it is, seek the guidance of the priest that if they could tell what IFA say they need to do, that they can make things right.
Yes.
You know? All the situations that is happening, if people go through, is 32 messages out of IFA. 16 from Ogbetura, 16 from Eji Ogbe. And if you look at our life period from last year, June to this June coming, you see what wait now. Understand what take place here. Understand what take place here. You know, somebody say I was pushing my point when I talk about if I say the woman will be victorious in the war. You know, they say I was pushing my Kamala, but it's not really. What's how we treated our women in this last few years?
No, it was tough. Last year
and this year.
A lot of things, a lot of wrong things, a lot of women went missing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Down to the female who worked in the court and all this kind of thing, you know.
But the bad part, as you really sat down and listened to the woman for their solution, have you really talked to the woman themselves? You know, put the matter before a woman. That because they say a woman will have the solution. It could be Penelope Beckers, it could be one honorary minister, but those that really deal with that issue, because it's a national security issue. This missing woman. Some man is helping some other man do his business and he hiding for the other man partner. A woman only getting there, the whole thing mash up. You understand?
That is why we as a people, we need to go to IFA, go and find out what would happen tomorrow, the next week, or whenever we have to keep consulting IFA. Because sometimes a person may think that we need to go to IFA with a whole community. But as small as whatever you could do, you go to IFA, ask questions. Now, it is good to go as a community, yes. But sometimes whatever little you could do, you do in order to see a change and a difference. Because right now, we need the prayers. We need to do the correct sacrifices in order to make things change for us. Because even that same Udu that spoke about oppressors fighting us, the remedy that IFA gave to us as a people, it's only sacrifice, only ebo. When you do ebo and sacrifice, these things would help fight the principalities and these negative energies that are being invoked to oppress our people.
I hear you say, you know, sacrifices and ebo, and we know what to do. Right now in the community, everybody, you know, listening, you know, people saying, we got this manifestation about this disease years ago, you know, and messages coming up, people coming up with little visions to put this and to put that, and let me do this and let me do that, and some people still questioning. I mean, if you get something, I can't question you.
Now, this is why I think we have to go into a re-education our people. But I think we ought to start with those in leadership. You know, not knocking no L and say nobody is not ruling well, but everybody ruling well in their space.
Benny.
You know, we have never ruled in the collective space. You know, in terms of, as I say, everybody have to do their part. The sacrifice have to meet. You know, but we have to look. Is the sacrifice really only about goat and pig and horse and whatnot?
And that is not what we are at. Hang at, Now that may be. Now that
for
would
the outsiders. Well,
Yeah.
for the outsiders. You know,
But that
when
would
they are
be-
the sacrifice.
Now that would be part of the spiritual aspect of it. But in terms of the sacrifice, many times when IFA speak and IFA says makes sacrifice, it's just not only the physical, but many times as well, it's also the sacrifice of our character. And certain things that would keep us from going forward. It's rooted in our character as a people. So if we could honestly make certain sacrifices of our character, it's when we as a people could go places. Now I'm not saying that I am most pious or anything like that, but what I'm saying here, I'm also to speaking to my Uri as well, that in order to move forward, we need to imbibe and inculcate certain teachings of the ORISA and how they worked together in order to make manifest Olodumare's plan and vision for this world here. And that is the only thing we can do by just rearranging our character and honoring what we had chosen from our rune. Now it's a funny thing when a person does not know their destiny.
Benny.
It's a funny thing when a person does not understand their purpose, because they would be now seeing other people living their purpose, and then they would then start to think that they could live that same purpose and that same destiny that person is doing. And that is when sometimes the friction would come. Sometimes you have to put on your blinders and do what you have to do. Because the moment you stop to gaze at someone else, you leave your business or to run off the road. You know? And we have to move past. And we as a people have to move past thinking that uniting with our brothers and sisters would allow someone to outshine us. Olodumare is beyond us thinking that a brother or a sister would outshine me or outshine us. Whoever is called to carry out a particular function, give them space and room and let them do it. Yes, because that is the only way destiny can manifest. And the moment you stand in the way of a person's purpose and destiny, on that time when Iku comes and call you back home, Olodumare will ask you, why did you stand in the way of progress? Why you did not allow certain things to happen? And I sanctioned it to happen. Yeah? And that goes again to character. Oyeku Meiji speaks about darkness into light. Why it is you would allow the darkness of your character to allow you to block another person's progress and another person's destiny. Why would you allow your character, to harbor hate and rancor towards another group of people? And that's why IFA tells us in Okoranshe that good neighborliness is the best way that we can live in this world. It's the best way we could live in this world. You give respect where it is due, and let everything fall in place in the right way. Ashe.
I'll just like to touch on some of the comments on the folks on Facebook here. Angie St. Paul says, we were not created to be destroyed. We should use this period to conform to who we are supposed to be. Judy James says Alafia. She says giving up. Jamie says sow good seeds so when bad times reach you can adapt. Disasters don't strike without a warning.
Is that truth?
You know, I'm going to touch on some more. Charmaine Taylor says man is not listening to the Most High. Jamie says when Egypt had plagues, check those who was faithful. You know, only Boss Lady Nikki says to get the best of ORISA, we have to live the right way.
Yes.
And this is so
Boss
true.
Lady.
You know, this is a sister that I've been following for the past couple of weeks who has been really interacting on
Faithful.
Facebook in a very positive way and a good way. You know, this is somebody that you could follow and learn a lot because she's on the Baptist Foundation side also. She's doing a lot, you know. She's very there. Jamie Simmons says you can do all kind of ebo and you're not making the inner change. It's waste of time. Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. But Baba Mela, I will ask this question. Uyukumeji is about the darkness and coming into light. Who is going to take the mantle? Who is going to take the lead in the community and come forward and said, this is what we're going to do with this period that we are going through. We shall organize and we shall move forward. And we shall move from into the dark and return to the light. Who?
Well, I cannot say who.
I know you can't say that.
I say I am making an effort. Now, in my main group, I just tell them I don't want followers. Because when you get so addicted to followers, you end up all no teeth in front of your mouth and they still wanted to come and sing in front of the altar. Me not on that. I'm about building leaders. Young ones, because we have to save the young ones for them to save us.
Yeah, sure.
If them don't know how to pour libation, oh Baba dead and they fall, oh God, what we could do? Then I go and sit down there and wait that somebody go get idea, hey, let me pour a little libation so Baba could get some water while he up in our room. Those who follow the Bible, is the man boiling? Could you just dip your finger in a glass of water for it to get a little quench? He acts like glass. He said you could dip your water. We just do it. They say, because you see the Africans just do it. Dip your finger and let it fall. That one drop does feed thousands of our ancestors. Now, as you read earlier, talking about that darkness, sometimes when we're in a down position, when we even know, even if a family may die, they say I not emotional and all this thing, but I'm empathetic, I'm not sympathetic. Even if a family die, first I'll say, something I didn't do that I'm supposed to do. Something I was not following that I know I should have done. You know? Out of the darkness sometimes is there we just reflect back about things like, oh, Brother Kamara passed. You know, it's a sad thing. But now, how do we really honor Kamara? Do as he wish he could have do. Like we start to do more. But you say, he if as all this thing done, he plan to do more.
No, the man used to tell me when I reached him, he would say, brother, I want to do more, you know. And I used to see it in him, boy.
Yeah.
Watch me, when I get the news about this man, I jump up off my bed.
Yeah, it was a nice
I jump in my van and I go on down and work because I say, whoa. I try to call my RA to find out because he and him good, he and himself good now. So I say, this man, he used to see it in him, boy. If Kamara could have paid for the IFA ORISA way of life for the year, he'd do that.
He'd do that.
You hear what I'm telling you?
Yeah.
real.
He was willing.
Just get that support. You know? And that's what I say. How do we honor him? By we ourselves doing that what he wish he could do, doing more. We have to do more in our community, especially those who have the responsibilities to do more. Because even the same Udu speak about leaders of heads and shrines. When they say be futuristic, you just think about, oh, what are we going to do in the future? It is saying that I had to know, sit down and look at our situation and how 10 years from now, how it's going to be. Because I have to look at when I reach old and grey, am I going to end up in some St. Jude's or St. Catherine home for the age? Now, if I cater to make sure it have a home for the age in my old age period, Papa smoke my pipe. Because you can't come and tell my daughter, come and let him say now IFA shrine. Or tell my son, you open father here.
Oh.
So I have to prepare a place. So when I say, okay, when I can't do no more, or let's send me here. I'm a little dirt house, I'm a ratch bed, I'm a mat spread to lie down. We have to prepare for the future, but also we have to prepare for the young ones.
Yeah.
Now, you're doing a program. The program can end up in a series. It could end up in a movie. I mean, more will be expected of you. Even if you are elevating your priesthood, more will be expected of you. Who's coming up? What's the next level? So, this is when you talk about how do we bring the solution to EACU, is we as elders have to start to really get serious in doing what we have to do.
Sure.
In a different way. I say we ain't doing it right, but I think we need to start to do things in a different way. You know, I want to put on a spot, there's a council of IFA elders that are preparing to take a mantle, you know, but our Western indoctrination, I think that is where our problem is. How we see things, we still see things from a Western eyes. Yes, we read it our Orikis. Even sometimes when you hear people saying Orikis, yes, they read it from a Western perception, a Western concept. So, if it is, we start to really allow people to see more than just IFA as a religion and start to enter it in all the different fields. June is coming up and I say, yes, a good celebration.
I don't look at IFA as a religion.
No, it's not a religion.
I don't ever say that.
No, but here, what I'm saying, the drive of IFA is coming from a religious perspective.
All right, true.
That is why people are fighting who should be Babalawo, who should be priest, who not priest, who should be priestess, rather than who are our Obas. Who are our Oloris?
Well, our wars.
Who's the Awos?
True.
So, election is coming up. Let me put Oloris in each district as councillors. And as councillors, we can start to teach our community IFA. Not IFA in a traditional perspective. IFA is the principles and the essence of God. The 8 essence of IFA. Education, economics, culture,
history.
You understand? All the essences. So, those who would have, as I saw in the clip in Al Jazeera, if I spoke about them, in a sense in 2018, 19, Odu, all those that came to me, received my blessings and elevation, you have turned your back against me and go back to your old ways. I will turn my back and I will help you no more. I see spiritual elders in Trinidad and Tobago that went back the old ways because the crowd wasn't coming, and now they. Understand? Now, I see in the words of IFA manifesting, because I'm observing, because I'm not looking at it as just about religion. Every aspect of things happening, IFA. We have to see it outside of just that worship. So until we could take away, I say, the religious principle. The religious should only when we sit down to do our ita dogu, or when we sit down to do our share, that is when we religiously go into IFA.
Benny.
You understand? That is where the religious part of IFA and the sacrificial. So we do our prayers, we do our offering. Or what's the work between this or share or this ita dogu that we do in teliness or telugu? We're not planting yam. So you run in the grocery and you buy yam. And you pound yam and you get IFA. By the time you pound yam, the next garden.
Yeah.
If it any land, you see, plant it. You ain't taking any land. You're just throwing food. One time to reap, you're going to reap. Feed the IFA.
There's also that semblance of self-sustainability even in the New Yam Festival that is done, by particular communities or shrines. That is all about being self-sustained, because not everything we as a people supposed to be running to the supermarkets for. Once you could feed yourself, that is the greatest self-sustainability, because we have to understand that our economics, once we as a people could control our economics and control how we spend our money in our community, that would get us the foundation that our young ones coming up could build upon. Because we have to move past the days of thinking that agriculture and a farmer is a poor man work.
No.
That is a job that is feeding nations. We have to move past thinking that only academia would guarantee our children's success. So that is why we go to IFA to find out the destiny of what our children are supposed to become. Because farmers are coming into this world every day. But if you don't put them on that road, then their destiny will just remain in the darkness and never come to light.
I wanna go through this year too, and we could talk about it. After this, we will open the lines. The role of IKU is important. Being concerned with balance, one of the many versions of this Udu imparts that Iku was most happy with the creation of humans because he found them to be delicious and made them his favorite food. But he was installable and always lacked satisfaction or pleasure. The people of Earth went to Orunmila to find a solution to the wild ways of Iku, and he advised them to prepare a meal with 1 chicken, camwood, yam, red cloth and pebbles. The chicken had to be tied to a post alive, and the pebble-rich meal should be placed in front of it. Iku came and saw the food and tried to eat it, but the hard pebbles made it impossible for him to consume his meal. Discouraged, he went on and found the chicken clucking. The song frightened him. The frightening song and the unusual food led him to believe that the humans had gained possession of magical powers. And so he took his leave from IE. The world entered a time in which no one got sick, no one died, and chaos and confusion arose. Seeing that the natural balance was upset, the elders of the city went to Orunmila and presented the problem to him. Orunmila made offerings to Yeshu with cola nuts, bitter cola nuts, and a bottle of gin. Yeshu came and told him that he would take care of the imbalance, but Orunmila needed to stay indoors for the next 24 hours and prepare some good food for him. Orunmila did as instructed. The next night, Yeshu called Iku to dine with him. Iku came and complained to Yeshu that he had been tricked by Orunmila and had come to enjoy some time with Yeshu before going out to kill all the votaries of Orunmila. When Iku had eaten his fill, he complimented Yeshu on his cooking and told him that it was now time for him to kill off the IFA priest. Yeshu replied that the meal had been prepared for them both by Orunmila to ensure that people would not die in their youth. Iku became annoyed, but respectfully agreed to the terms of the offering and swore not to devour Orunmila and his followers. Death returned to the world, but now he would only take those ripe old age. Although Iku returned to heaven after the initial offering, he sent his missionaries to the world to catch food for him. These were his wife, sickness, and his children, loss, despair, poverty, and turmoil. The spirits we know as Ajagun. These are forces that impede good fortune, and we often consider them to be evil. IFA states that if we attract these powers of obstruction through our choices, our attitudes, and general carelessness, it is here that the concept of taboo enters. I'll stop right here. So, when you read these things, it does just show you.
Well, that is IFA. In essence, IFA tells us what our action or inaction would amount to. So, success and failure is within oneself. Success and failure is within oneself. So if you fail to do what you need to do, then certain situations and certain results would befall us. Now, the ajoguns are always there. If you do good, they will leave you alone. But if you are engaging in dark, evil, devious things, these things would be attracted itself to you.
Benny.
So that's why IFA tells us that we must always take care of our character. We need to always take care of our character.
You hear who Iko send is wise. You see who Iko wise was?
Sickness,
you know?
Yeah.
And we look at it as evil, but it is not evil.
No, that because the key part of the balance. And it is in when there's an imbalance, where do we find the balance, or where do we need to bring back the balance?
But it goes back to show, Baba, there's an imbalance right now in society.
Yeah.
How are we going to bring
go
back
back
to the balance? How are we going to get the balance?
No, issue is wisdom.
Issues are tricks.
Yeah, no, it put it that he can't be satisfied, but those who reach their old age.
We take this call, you know? Aboro abo shishe.
Pleasant night.
Pleasant night, caller.
It's a night.
Yeah. I'm trying to find some balance right now. Now, I listen to the conversation, now the teachings, and I realize that we need meditation to keep it in, you know. But the credit aid, the call wise, we heard about Adam and Eve, right? Like the teaching handed down to us as Christians. If I say that was knowledge, set of knowledge.
Yes.
IFA is knowledge.
IFA is knowledge, yeah.
Right. The credit is, were there ever Adam and Eve from creation, or if not, what was the full form of creation with man and woman and the name or what so forth? I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller. Yeah, Baba Melo.
Well, other some people, I don't believe in the Bible as read. Well, let us say you don't believe something just as it is read by somebody. Some people do Bible studies, and some people study the Bible. So sometimes these stories, they are allegories, myths, historical facts, and other things within the words of the Bible. But even if you want to believe in the Bible, you don't need to believe in the story, but believe in the principles. Because if you want to go back to talk about balance, thou shalt not eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So the tree and all still had the balance. It was neither good, neither evil. It is the balance between good. So you have Okbe, Oyeku, light and dark. So wherever you partake, so it comes as once you are infertile mind, right? Like this, Adam was just placed to tend the garden. He didn't have no purpose. He said there's no man to till the soil, so he put man to till the soil. So you don't need to go beyond it. So biting of the fruit come like an initiation. You now have to operate at a different level. Yeah, now have to know the difference between good and evil. When they say fools tread where angels fear to go, that means when they didn't know, you could get away with anything. When they come to the point that you say no, operate that you know, because the consequences by you doing the wrong thing, knowing what is the right thing, is worse than if it was a fool doing it. So when we speak of balance, everything has to have a balance. But when I say about issue in his wisdom, issue set a new agenda, set a new trend. So ECO was not just taking people. He said take them at their ripe old age. That means the time that they are already feeble. They have nothing really.
They live their
they live their life.
Destiny.
So there where the balance kind of came with a set agenda. And this is what we always have to take a new age with a new plan. We cannot. A lot of people was vexed with me when I said it on the political platform. If you survive COVID after that first how much days lockdown, and you haven't read 2 new books, haven't practiced some new skill, haven't developed yourself to a different level than you was before COVID, better you had died from the COVID. Because when you see people who went through the first year still behaving in the same mental state as it was even before COVID, that means this situation didn't prepare me for, because right now we worried about COVID. If a serious war was to take place and we are just basically, we can't really fight one another, but we could end up in the middle of the war.
No, don't say that. I'll take your personal. I'll take your personal.
I don't think.
Yeah.
If situation of war was within or around Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of our society wouldn't even be able to comprehend what to do.
About Shishe caller. I'm going to take this call. This person has been calling.
Yes,
Caller?
Yes, sir.
Blessed love.
To God be the glory to mankind.
Yes, I.
You know, I observe, man and man wisdom is very fulfilling. And, knowledge enlighten. See, but the reasoning about self-sufficiency, feeding and bedding, the food of life. Today I dig some cassava, my brethren. If you see nice cassava again, I can't believe I get sweet cassava. If you see them cassava, I smile up and down. I still praise them.
Yeah.
So, as the brethren say, if COVID pass and African people don't open their eyes and see really and truly we need that fullness of togetherness now and not later. Better be dead.
Facts.
Fast, quick. Understand? Because I don't know what them need again to wake up and open their eyes. Some of them, not all of us, As my brethren say a long time, I say, many are called and few are chosen. And next brethren say, some of us survive mental slavery and wicked colonialness. Because we run away from Palestine and run up in Lamartine. Some of us, as soon as we reach a shore, they couldn't come for it because the place was demonic. They couldn't come where demons lie. Them wicked and evil demons. They always have a bigger demon than a smaller one. As the knowledge increase, it is over how powerful that really is. So all this talk about Adam and Eve, this is just fiction. This is just to let us know that they live. And we have to pick sense from nonsense. The Bible is a two-edged sword. As the brethren say, you have to know the Bible before the Bible know you. And don't get tired with it. Because they put it there for us. Because half of the story have never been told. And transforming with the Bible, the old one, the new one, the one before the new one, the one after the old one. And some of us really running around, Jesus Christ, a pastor. Brethren, guide us, no man.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say something too on the caller who had asked about the Bible. This is not knocking anyone in nowhere, and this is my view and not the view of the Street 919.
Say that again.
This is my view,
yes,
and not the view of the Street 919.
Benny.
Any doctrine that portrays the role of our mothers, our feminine energies that give birth to us as vehemently destructive. That is something to look at with a very, very observant lens.
Yes, caller. About Shishe.
A pleasant night.
Pleasant good night to you. Yeah.
I enjoy this program. You know, I love this program. I support this program. But the correction of having the Bible being discussed, you know, is not that is only of myth, but the Bible have its truth in it as well, right? Just as every history have their truth and have its lie, you know. So based on the question the caller asked with Adam and Eve, if I'm being permitted to answer, I am going to share my own opinion.
Yes, you go ahead.
Where Adam and Eve is something that dwells in us. The serpent that does dwell in us. It's our choice where we choose to live when the day comes. Right? Either we choose to be the role of Eve, or we choose to be the role of Adam, being deceived by many. The role of Eve, bringing the deceitfulness towards the plate, or the serpent that caused the situation to occur. You know? So, it is a very deep statement when we look at the purpose, because God is not mock. Uludumare is not mock in the sense of He will create something and then wonder, should Adam need a wife? No, it don't work like that. God is the God for the past, the present, and the future. And He knows when He made Adam, they were already in the spiritual realm. Everything that is in this carnal world was already there spiritually. They were both male and female potential of Himself. You know, before it came into material world, before we manifest the real idea of God creation. It was already there. Our soul was the main focus that He take time and form and brought breath of life into us. Now, when we come into this body now, the breath of life is wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It not literally mean that we are functioning in our body. So, hence the reason why we can obtain, you know, spiritual growth just like that. No, our soul were already born among spirit beings before we come into this level of manifesting into a body. And when we manifest this into our body, it is our choice now to live right or to live wrong. It is our choice to serve ORISA, or if not to serve ORISA. It is still our choice to serve God in spirit and in truth, or not to serve God in spirit and in truth. You know? So, the Bible, I would not condemn it, but at the same time, I wouldn't say that it has full 100 truth in it. You, as the individual, we as the how to put it, the children of the light have to pick sense from nonsense. God is not mocked, as I will say again. He wouldn't make a mistake then to correct it. He already know what He's about. He know what He's creating. Universal God is something that no man could ever done learn. You could never done learn God, whether you follow Christian way, or you follow ORISA way, or you follow IFA way. All pertaining to one destiny, you know. But it's what truth you decide to stand on. You know? Right. What truth you decide to stand on? Paraventia, okay. What about the story where Moses saw the promised land and he couldn't enter, and that come from the biblical term? Same way, we will know how to serve ORISA, but what about we only want to live evil towards one another? ORISA is not about evil. ORISA is of positive energies. No. How can we mix evil with positive energy? How can we fight our own self from going to the truth and denying our own self the truth? Here the Eve and the serpent and the Adam coming now. Wisdom is not built just like that. You know, because if I am serving Balogun and I'm paying homage to Balogun and I want Balogun to cut and clear away from me, but I am living evil towards my neighbor, or I am living evil towards my brother or my sister, what am I doing? Am I really following the footsteps of Orisha Balogun? Or am I pretending to highlight Ogun as or Baba Ogun as part of my heritage to really fight my battles for me? This sickness is based on our own self that is in Trinidad and Tobago and in the world. Because we have removed ourselves from our very foundation, which is serving God in spirit and in truth. No matter what road you come on, is the main idea that we serve God in spirit and in truth and stay there, stay on truth. We cannot mix up Orisha's positive energy with negative energy. I have heard many times where people will say Orishas will kill. Orishas is going to kill somebody if they don't follow the right footstep or they don't do the right thing. I don't know Orishas to kill. I know Orishas to protect and serve. I know Orishas to follow under that solid righteous road. You know, there are different levels of God, and I wouldn't go into that, where it will do such thing. If you break the law of God, you kill your own self. You break the law of God, you create that for you. No Orishas is to blame for your fault or your wrongdoing. Messages have been given out by Orishas on different levels, but we choose not to what? To hear the voice. The same Bible says, we are a stubborn bunch of people. We don't listen. We could be given direction, formality. We could, however we want to go. We would not listen and come to truth. We rather darkness. I heard on your show earlier on where they talk about darkness bring light. Only if you are innocent and not knowing the way of serving true destiny, you are in darkness, and eventually you are going through your journey to meet light.
Paula?
She finished.
Hello?
Yes, Paula, I just wanted to add something to what you're saying. Now, not disputing all what you are saying, that the Orisha is not about mercilessness, they are about healing, they are about all of that. But there's a teaching in Orisha that tells us that it's when we poke our nose into other people's ways of life and other people's traditions, it's when we lose our way. Now, you are saying that we have to know our purpose and know our direction.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a seed, if it's an orange seed or a mango seed, it will only grow up to be that in which it is. How many people listening this program right now can actively state that they know what they have been uniquely created to do by Olodumare, what they have been created to do? And that is the first truth we have to accept. When we could understand what we have been sent here to do, is accepting the first truth. And when people choose to dance all around that, it's when the deceitfulness, as you were saying, starts. Because we as a people, looking on the left, looking on the right, looking at other groups of people in the different continents in the world. And we may see some of them as being successful. But every person has a remedy for their success. Our ancestors have laid down the foundation for us to find out what our destiny is within the first 3 days of our newborn babies being born. Our ancestors had, in fact, have something called Eshentaye, where within the first 3 days, when our child foot touches the earth, they will know if this child is here to become a healer, a leader, a teacher, a farmer, whatever. Beyond that, there is another remedy for us to find out who we are that will lead us into living our truth, which is called initiation.
Ben.
And when you pass through these kinds of things that our ancestors have put down, it is what would help us to find our purpose and our destiny. How many people you know right now in their adult age running around and saying that, boy, I don't know what I am here to be. I like this and that, but I don't know what I was created to become. And that is the first truth. IFA tells us, when we come into this world, we must leave it in a better state than we met it. What is the purpose of Olodumare sending an individual into this world here? It means that Olodumare uniquely created an individual to do a particular function. Why a person should follow their ancestry? Your ancestry is your spiritual DNA. There are many roads in this world that is presented before us as a people, but we cannot follow all roads. We have to follow the road that Olodumare set us on. And how would one know that? Huh? How? People will run from here to there and all of that, and it then become lost. We have to stick onto our road.
Let her caller, you have 2 minutes. Just finish up on where you was.
What I was clarifying, I can agree with the brother, but what I'm clarifying is that everybody may not get the calling of ancestry road. But long they are walking of truth.
Go ahead.
Long they are truth and they are serving God in spirit and in truth, the way how they are being taught or what they know as right, and their conscience is clear, peradventure along the way journey, they are going to make it to their destiny, maybe not in this life, but in the next life. We are not going to say that they wouldn't make it or they don't have the authority to do it because they are not following that road. But truth lie in them because this is what they've been taught. And if a child been taught that way and they grow sincerely based on the truth, and they're being honest towards Olodumare, even God, Jehovah, whoever you want to call him, he's not going to turn his back on us. Universal God is not going to segregate us from one to another because we are one people, united, and we have to follow our steps that which God allow us to know. At the end of the day, it is still God, universal road. It is not our way, it is God's way. And I'm not in disagreement of how you bring it across, but many of us would not find our way just because you say IFA or taking initiation or doing that, because we are not sincere enough to see that IFA is way of life or ORISA is a way of life. We are not sincere of our own history.
We're not sincere about it.
So then I pray to God would not allow God to punish me or to allow me to go against his law or anything. I am being sincere, and the truth will come to me somehow or some other. This is my little contribution towards the show. I do enjoy the show. Everybody have a blessed night.
Thank you very much, Sister. Thank you. Have our next call here.
Yes.
Aborabo here, Aboshishe. Caller.
Hello, hi, cousin. Good night. Great show. And I just wanted to ask the host in the studio there, can I get like the essay he was reading from about the woman, I think it's last Monday, the article he was reading from, can I get a copy or can you just read it on the next program?
Okay, call me after the show and I'll send it to you. Right? Call me at about 10:15 and I'll organize. I just want to touch on some of the...
Okay, but you have to leave in your number though.
I have your number here.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, no problem. Thank you much, sir.
No problem. Thank you very much, caller. I just want to touch on, I don't want to leave people streaming on Facebook out. If a Taiche Atunumu says things happen in a particular way because people think IFA is tangible and is limited. IFA is the truth, guiding the world. The truth, we need to be truthful to ourselves. We need to be truthful to each other. Everyone thinks what they want to say is above the truth, and everyone believe they can speak for Olodumare. Jamie Simmons says you can't deny DNA ancestors.
Thank you.
Comes first. We are far from Olodumare, caller. Tula Mitch says, yes, let's keep on track of what we are here about without the illusions. Kioni Sweetness Wilk says, God is balance. God creates and God destroys. That is embedded in God's nature, and God made the universe in like manner. It's not all love and light in spirituality. Why are we so reluctant to acknowledge that the part of God? Why do we think that when something bad has happened, it isn't of God? If we remain committed to one version, we replenish the open-minded required to transcend. Karen Roberts says, blessed night to you all.
Good night, brother.
Ifa Taishe says, the right way to live is the way of our destiny using the method which is of good character. Jamie Simmons says, mind your own business. That's what this time for you can hear the emotion of the ear. But at the end of the day, you can cry or feel sorry for others. That's not your burden to carry at all. Sits Jamie Simmons. Oh,
Jimmy,
God. Jamie, I go block you just now.
I just want to say something.
I don't take away Aina say here. There are many versions. Those who follow that doctrine must get the correct version. That is truth. May the energy of Uiku take us out of the ignorance used to enslave and lead us to the intelligence and order of Olodumare.
Share. Ala Tumishe and Baba Mello.
Now, just joking with Jamie, you know, Jamie's a very aggressive. I love her energy, you know, yeah, Baba.
You know, many of us in this Western dispensation here would reference, you know, the Bible as the book that would encapsulate, you know, all the principles that was handed down to us from God.
Mm-hmm.
But my views is not the views of the Street 919.
All the time.
I would like to tell people here that this program is called the IFA ORISA Way of Life. This show is second to none. When I say that, it means that we are here to perpetuate the tradition of IFA ORISA tradition. When we say IFA ORISA tradition, it means that it's the way of life that has been handed down to our ancestors via the inspiration of Olodumare. When it had been handed down, it meant that our ancestors received guidance on how to navigate themselves in this world here. And it was when some of them had deviated out of the path that was created for them, it is when they became enslaved. And it's when they had deviated out of the path that was created for them, it is when other groups of people had enslaved some of them. So I just want persons to understand that IFA Orisha has a doctrine. There is philosophy, there is history, there is science, there is language, there's astronomy, mathematics, herbal remedies, all kinds of things is in IFA Orisha. And we have doctrine to support every single thing we say here. And it is not that we are putting down any other group of people, but hold on to what is yours. And when you hold on to what is yours, it is then you would find fulfillment in one's life. Because you could imagine waking up each day and not knowing your purpose. That's a very sad place to be. And with IFA Orisha tradition and teaching, it ensures that when you wake up in the morning, you can know what your destiny is.
Benny.
So that is all I want to tell people in this time. Let us expand our minds out of only what was given to us, which is the Bible. There's other texts that could give you much more inspiration to push your life forward in a different way.
Let's say this in terms of, all right.
At nine we go take a break and play some music and we'll come right back. Baba Mello.
All right. We just use the term truth. There's a truth and there's the truth. The only truth we can really know now, see this experience here, this is true because we each experience it and we could give note of it. All what we have read in terms of what is created, what's supposed to be God, what's supposed to be Orisha, basically the only truth of that is what we experience in any of those things. Now, most people, when people talk about ancestors is not a religion. It are no ancestor road and no ancestor path. There are no ancestor thing. You may have a Gungun priest and priestess in the cult of a Gungun or Oro. But in terms of ancestors, we are our ancestors. We are the DNA of ancestors. We are the manifestation of our ancestors. I am into the spirituality or the tradition or the priesthood because my ancestry was an ancestor of priesthood. So even if I'm tradition, and not because no Orisha brought me here, it's because it is in my ancestral lineage that I am following. Our ancestry didn't come from in 1950 or 150 years. It came from the first gene of my lineage, the first house of, whichever Orisha brought our family into the world. You know, I say, call on those before you, call behind you. Who are those before you? Is the ancestors that are before you. Who behind you? The Orishas of your family's lineage.
So that says a lot.
So, from the day Orisha came with their human, they say Obatala, well, when they say Ogun came first, and he came with a set of stick, and he could not do nothing with his stick. They started to chew the stick and they started to get hungry and they go back up. Obatala came with water, he said, it's refreshing, but it ain't sustaining. He went back up. Remember when before divination, and they say, walk with these plants. So when he came, he had the stick to borehole and pop the plants. He had water to water the plants. So he could have take the stick, make fire, take the water, cook and cook the baji. Tete. The primordial plants. What we just call baji, wild baji. That experience, the experience when you wake up in the morning, you take your toothbrush or your that one, what do you call it, that one? that one stick and you start to chew the stick. You take the water and you wash your mouth. And then you go and have breakfast.
Yes.
That was the beginning of that whole concept of morning hygiene.
Your phone busy tonight. Abo shishe. Caller. Yes, caller. You know, so we're gonna take a break. You know, the IFA Orisha way of life It's a way of life. We are not against anybody else's practices. We are not against, but our ancestors, ancestry, as Baba said, is not a religion. Our ancestors are there, the ones who paved the way for us. They are the ones who came before us. You know? So, we're going to play some music and we're going to come right back at you. And what this person called keep jumping off. I don't know which part it is.
Sure. We still on it?
Yeah, yes. Yes, so we're back here on the IFA Orisha way of life, you know, and I want to say something here. The views of myself and the IFA Orisha way of life program and my guests are not the views of the Shoot 919 FM. Also, myself, Alatu Mishe, Ifaba Mishe, Aganki, and my brother, King Shaka, we don't discriminate or try to turn or disrespect one's community or religion. We are not also here to force IFA onto no one. IFA is a way of life. IFA is the doctrination for us to live by. I want to take this call before we continue. Aboro aboye aboshishe.
Good night again. I embrace the clarification for the question that I had asked just now with principle and DNA and whatever. The reason I asked the question is because someone called in 2 programs ago and was talking about Adam and Eve didn't have any. So I said to myself, to clear my mind, let me ask that question, but it doesn't need to far away from the ORISA. One thing I want to ask, the last conference he was playing, there's some Nigeri or some kind of name like that. I can't remember the exact position. What does mean the Udo or whatever you call it here, and who is a relay?
You want to that Baba Melo. But next week we'll be having the Gok brothers. The story of the Gok brothers, the 3 brothers will be here with our drumming session that we have. You know, we have any Gok brothers here next week. So Baba, you want to answer that?
Make it short.
Yeah.
Erile is Orisha. He is like on the part of Ogun, part hunter, part fisherman. There's also some patakis or some stories who speak that he was a husband of Yemuja, like where there's have the light blue colors for him, where he would be down, where he would have been down in her domains in the deep oceans, and then he wanted to leave, so she cut off his tongue. And he could not tell of what is below there, but he gave them the 16 cowrie shells that they could speak to him. You know, in terms of when you go into Orisha, there's so much of different aspects of Orisha, because in terms of Erile, to me, Erile is the activation Orisha for me. If Orisha is not working within my groove, I invoke the Orisha Erile to activate that Orisha. That is one of the key we understand with Erile. He's what they call it, a Janomorphos. Some big word that's trying to say for him. But it is like a warrior spirit. It's an activated spirit, not a Imole, but one that works with Ogun and the water energies. He is like a water spirit and land spirit.
All right. I'll just like to touch on some of the comments that I have been seeing here from Egbe, Unisineledo Mare. For the enlightenment, we salute the 16 pillars, fires of light from the conversations observed. Some have touched on ancestry, DNA, and all are of the same tradition. That is coming from Chief Ramfe, Masatunji, you know.
Baba.
Baba is always supportive of the tradition and of this program, IFA Orisha Way of Life.
So I see in one of the comments there, I see somebody you're speaking in terms of in terms of the COVID.
Forget nothing.
Yeah.
Just forget nothing.
Going back to Oyeku, it is on a darkness we can see light. In our despaired moment is where we're supposed to look for our strongest, you come back, we keep falling down. They say, don't come to my time and fall out. Check on my time, let's just get back up. How we come out of it. Now, if we focus too much on the COVID, everything else is killing we. You could have COVID and still live. But if you put all your energies on the COVID, the other things that are wrong with you will kill you. You know? And it comes this, all this is within the teachings of IFA, the teachings of Oyeku. That's why I say, in the darkness, you know, you don't curse or scorn the darkness. Otherwise, the light will destroy you. And when they say Oyeku is always protected by Ejiope. So do not do ill to Oyeku, because Ejiope will be furious at you. Because sometimes, also in our ignorance, sometimes we become ignorant of things and not allow ourselves to really correct ourselves. Because, but in the perspective of the pandemic, there's Oyeku. And we scorn it so much. We speak ill of it so much. We have so much I think to say about this. But when we do get rid of it, where are we going to be? When that moment that light comes that we could breathe, okay, it is here no more. Because everything that has a beginning has an end. Everything that is birthed have a day of dying. Even if people say, oh, this could be with us, it will be till when the point time it have to go. And when Oled Mary say it have to go, it will go. But after it left, and we're in that freedom of light, what are we going to do? We're still waiting to get by our bikini and piece of beads to jump up in carnival and hang upside down on a lamppost? Or we go look more and say, hey, you know this, we have to focus. Let our calypsos not be just about, you know, how it look and how I go bump it and how I go rock it, but let it be how I survived it.
True.
How I elevated through it. You know? How I embraced it. Now this how, after coming out of Oyeku in the darkness, what are we preparing for that period? You know, Tumishe asks where we go, who will do it? But it can only be done in the collective. We can do it. You know, they say we in all this together, but we in all of this together, but we all have to really understand we need to go back where we was. We need to go back to who we represented when we was at Trinidad then. I used to live in New York, you know. I left at the age of 11, came down just for summer holidays. And it was, this time, mango now going out of the season. So, you know, you're getting one or two, but you ain't getting the full season. And I enjoy that mango season too much. You know, when it's time to leave, I hide my passport, visa, everything. Yeah. Because I want to make sure I'm here for the next mango season. I want to miss it. I want to be end of it. But they're saying, you know, I spend that time waiting for that next season. You know, what are we doing preparing to make ourselves ready for the new season? Are we going to allow Fauci and them to really guide ourselves? And yet we have spent how much? 50 years with Nationalism, 150 years thing. Stokely Carmichael, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, we could call them. Who not going into black panther, but I'm a black man. And I have to remember, this skin always have an issue first. They see it before they could recognize my name. So the people who oppress me supposed to guide me when I have the ability to guide myself. But we have to be serious about what we guiding ourselves in. Now this sister will talk about the Bible. Yes, the Bible is a good book. But it's one of the youngest books when they talk about spirituality, godness, God being on earth. It's one of the youngest stories. Though the Quran might be a little younger. But we came from the cradle of creation. We came from the civilizing of man in its wholeness. You know? We came from that first pinnacle of what it is to cook a pot, make a lime, sing a song. That's where we came from. That is our Yeku, that is our darkness, because that is the part we can remember. So when we feel it in the spirit, we dance a Shango, we dance a catch a spirit. Not really catch a spirit, you know, it's all those ancestors really manifest through you to express itself, but is not being in tune with ourselves that you find people as we wrestling with a manifestation. Let me put it this way. When a God choose you, you run into every church, and when a moment come, you tap in the gong, say, not me. You know, that's it. We have to re-educate ourselves into when we speak in tradition. When people speak of ancestors, that's the ancestors is not religion. Every occasion, you're supposed to have a little part where you recognize ancestors. You're having a birthday party. Okay, bam, bam, all you play. All you don't forget the ancestor pot. Wash your plate, have the cup, wine, fruits, whatever for your ancestors. Thing, do your thing, and then tonight I got party till we hours in the morning. It might be the safest party. You're having a wedding. 2 families going and join. As we go on to find out if those ancestors at war. I said, is war going on in heaven with these people's ancestors and it hasn't been settled. Settle it. Peace the ancestors. Let the ancestors know we are going to forgive each other and this continue onwards. No generational war is going to take place here. So there's a lot of things we could do as a people when I talk about we, everybody collectively, in really understanding our true spirituality. Forget the religion. Religion is just a comfort zone. You don't know where to go, you find a religion. When you know what to do, when you learn and understand, dust your pants, thank the pastor or thank the leader or thank the baba, thank the old, thank whoever, and take your journey.
Sure.
That is what it's supposed to be. Oimila initiated many. He initiated Akoda. Did he keep Akoda till he leave? He said, go your way. And Akoda met Asheda. Initiated him. And he continued. It's only now you're seeing people say, yeah, oh, you have to stay under the... No. If I'm to be a priest, I will sit on a thing to be a priest, but I'm an advocate. I'm a practitioner of IFA. I'm an AWO. So I teach what I know. And a lot of people like to say, what is it? Otura, Ika Otura, Turopon?
Ika Otura.
Ika Otura.
No, Ika Ofun? Which one?
Which one speaks of the 60 principles.
Ika Ofun.
Don't you must not do.
Ika Ofun.
And do not do this and do it. Yes, that is good guidance. But within the wisdom, is teach what you know. If you know this is not potato, you cannot teach that it's potato. But if it's yam, teach that it's yam and teach how to cook it. There are things we could teach, and there are things that not to be taught.
Yeah,
there are things to experience.
Just like what Ifa Taisha says here, it is Isheshe we must appease before any Orisha. And then Egbe on the Sinuludo Mari, I do put to the panel, guests and to the host and co-host of the program. An old adage from Kemet in Idi, Yoruba may be rendered as Mo Arari, know thyself. As a community, we need to begin by knowing ourselves. Many of us over the years have been ashamed of our connections with Akibulan,
Africa.
Even here, among spiritual. Now, but I like to pronounce the word. Learn it. Spiritual elders in the two lands. Trinidad and Tobago, many elders in 1970 could not identify with our physical heritage. Knowledge of self is a good place to begin. And with that being said, I would just like to read this final here. Strictly speaking, Oyiku Meiji is a twilight from the word Ayo, which is used of the two magical junctures when there is neither day nor night, representing liminal times which are extremely benevolent for petitions and prayers. The twilight is the gateway for possibilities, where polarities blend into one another. The twilight is understood as a wondrous and beautiful contrast because it was the first appearance of Orunmila. A story relates to Orunmila was adopted by Oyiku's parents, the Triple Crossroad and the Dumpster. His foster parents were rich and obese, always searching for food, delight, and things of beauty. His foster father was gentle, but deep down greedy, while his foster mother took an obsessive delight in the witch's mystery. They were good people, but had wholly material and selfish inclinations. Orunmila found them lacking in character because they did not seek to develop good character, which showed itself in their disregard for moderation. Hence it is because of Orunmila's foster parents, the parents of Oyiku, that the seed of greed and selfishness was planted in the market of the world. Because of this, IFA insists upon the importance of moderation of nourishing body, soul, and spirit. Moderation is a key word here, as there is nothing wrong with the gluttony of the generous foster father, just as there is nothing wrong with the witchy interests of the foster mother. After all, it is in this Udu that old Milliam marries Oja, prosperity, and Ajay, wealth. A marriage that was the direct consequence of his generosity, hospitality, and kindness to his community. Illusion was born in this Udu, symbolized by the spider that connects the points of creation into a web of deadly beauty in which we all can be caught. The spider is magic incarnate. She represents the essence of possibilities in the world. She spins a web that covers the womb of mystery. The spider's silk is of the nature of the moon, and silk is the ladder of the other side. Wise cotton is what embalms humanity. You know, so everything that we talk about here tonight, just billing. You know, Shaka, you're looking disturbed, you're looking disturbed.
No, I'm not disturbed at all. I'm not.
But
in every single thing, sorry, about it's not that we here on the IFA ORISA way of life is looking past all other ways of life, but we understand that we need to find that sense of purpose and that sense of direction in all things. Our ancestors have presented to us the spiritual technology of IFA in finding out our destinies and why we were created. And because that is what they have presented to us, it is what we will use. In terms of the focus on ancestors, a lot of people don't know that when we really understand our ancestors, you would see a total change in your life. A lot of people don't know that sometimes in failing to give their ancestors their proper burial, their ancestors get stuck in transition and they cannot move. And they cannot even work on your behalf. So it's important to understand the importance of honoring your ancestors because they are linked to your spiritual DNA. Sometimes a person may be going through certain problems, and when they go and spiritually investigate, they would find out that their ancestor is calling out for help, and they are the ones in the living realm here that would be able to help them overcome such impediments. So we have to really get an understanding that your mother who mind you from since you're small, your father who mind you since you're small, upon their death, we should not forget them.
Benny.
We should do everything we could to remember them and to ensure that they have a safe transition across to the ancestral realm. We have to do that as a people. Trinidad and Tobago, please, any person who's listening this show now, please understand the importance of your ancestors. Please.
Benny.
Because it is sad and it is even disrespectful that society teaches us that the word ancestor is something bad. And then certain parts of the year we celebrate Halloween. We have to pick sense from nonsense and accept the truth. Accept the truth, find out about your ancestors. And they stem beyond 100 years. Find out about your ancestors, helped to liberate them as well, because some of them are stuck in transition because some of the burial rites were not performed in the correct way.
Benny.
So in coming into this world as a people, we have something to do. And in exiting this physical world, we have something to do for our departed loved ones. And the correct thing is to go to IFA and find out what is needed to be done to send your ancestors en route to where they are supposed to go. Trinidad and Tobago, this is serious. This is serious. We need to liberate our ancestors, and we need to liberate ourselves first. There is a reggae song that says, none but yourself could free your mind. And when you free your mind, it is then you are free. And when you are free is when you could free other people. So let us come out of this rubbish notion of thinking that when we put away our departed loved one, that is it. Let us go to IFA, do it Nation, consult or IFA or Miller, consult IFA or Miller, find who the competent Babalawos are, find who the competent Ianifas are, find these people, get a proper reading done to find out what is the state of your ancestors. They could help us. They could help us before any other ancestor of any other group of people. Your ancestors could help you. Charity begins at home. Charity begins at home. Let us raise up our ancestors. Let us come out of the darkness and walk into the truth. Please let us walk into the truth. Ashe.
Egbe Unisine Ludomari, that's Chief Oramfe. He says one of the best ways to respect, remember and perpetuate the honor of your ancestors is to reclaim your name. One of our greatest symbols of our enslavement is the use of the names of those who enslave us. You know, so I just, I'm going to bring back, tell me what you think, and then I'm going to go right back to Baba Mello. Right? It's a long time I do. Tell me what you think, Be careful when the seed of hate is planted. That seed of hate will become a tree. That tree will then bear fruits. The fruits will then become hate. Who will then eat the fruit of hate? The person who planted the seed of hate? What will now become of the person who ate the fruit of hate? The person will then be poisoned by hate. One can only hope that while the person who planted the seed of hate would be the only one to eat it, it is not always the case. Sometimes the person who eats that fruit of hate also shares the same fruit of hate to ones who would not know that fruit is the fruit of hate. We can only hope persons in and around that person who shares the fruit of hate would not also consume and be poisoned by that hate. Be very careful of seeds planted.
Sure.
Those seeds will then become trees, and those trees will then bear fruits. Please ensure that the trees of hate already planted will be outnumbered by the trees of love. I plead that seeds of hate are not planted, but the seeds of love are planted. His Eminence, Owolabi, Owodotuno Oreni, the Araba Agbaye, Olo Isheshe. Yeah, so we need to be careful of the seeds that we plant and the things that we do.
Benny.
Because it can come back and
Bite us.
Be very disastrous in our lives. It goes back to Ikumeji. So, Baba, you have about 15 minutes, touch up on anything you want to finish on.
Right, I can summarize. Right, one place, Oloduma is Isheshe, where you must please Isheshe before you please Orisha. There's also a phrase, it is Ori, we should appease before we appease any Orisha.
Benny.
And, I heard he call Baba Shaka to the people, But what I think we have to try to give up a emphasize on what we mean when we say what we say. Because it was Jagrati, Jagrati, whatever it's called it, a Hindu station or a Hindu program.
Blessings.
You know, we be talking, I'm not saying, but we would have been talking the same thing, but speaking in the context of the worldview as an Hindu, the worldview as an Indian, the worldview that one who loves Shiva, one who adores Lakshmi, you know. So when we speak here, we are speaking the same thing as we said earlier.
Sure.
All Orisha left Orun to come to Aye. That means they left heaven to come to earth. It didn't say come to Nigeria, it didn't say come to here, it didn't come to Trinidad. It came to earth. Earth, which Aye, which even didn't want us here. It started calling, why are all these people coming here? Orishas had us to appease and make some kind of agreement to let us stay here. Because look what we're doing here today. Cutting down the Amazon, we digging for oil, we want diamond, we doing all kind of things. So Earth knew these people coming here. You know. But the issue again comes in and it came to an agreement. That's why Earth get vexed and it rock a little, open a crack, sink in, nobody's going to condemn the Earth. Olodumare ain't go and say, why did you do that? He decided to wash his whole face and take away 2 cities, tsunami. Now, so we have to understand our Ori. Everybody Ori is their Olodumare's representative on earth. They do good or bad, you'll just be in terms of the positive natures of Olodumare or the negative natures of Olodumare. Your Ori is representative of Olodumare. That's why we basically could do anything. We give birth, we could celebrate, we could hate, we could love, we could make a choice.
Yes, caller.
Night, caller.
Hi, my brethren.
Hmm.
You know, I want to really lively up the boss himself, Mr. Neil Iva George, for a wonderful, brilliant, musical. I don't want to put that song. That song real, I tell you that. The one we have now, a new one I even on the plan the land, man. The man real speaking that, you know. Yeah. Yeah, stuff, all right. Talk to the boss and the family. Tell me.
Yes, you don't know. You know.
Oh, so what I'm saying, it is Ori that say Shango is from Oyo. It is Ori that say Oshun is from Oshopo. It is Ori that say Orima is from Ikete. Now remember, them so they didn't identify tongues, we give them tongues. In ancient teachers, it was said divine intelligence created man and men made gods. So even if wherever part of the world we watch our spirituality, we express it from that point. Our situation in the diaspora, I think there is a factor which we just have to look when we talk about IFA and ORISA. We being in the diaspora, we had to adapt, we had to compromise, we had to survive. So a lot of things where we are singing, we are saying, Yahweh, 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 Kolojo. Oh wait, no. Yahweh. Are we worshiping a Hebrew deity? Because we really understand what we are saying. We are just singing the song. Where did that come from?
Different.
However, going to Oriki, because I understand people, I know, when I was studying Bible, I didn't, Matthew chapter 5 verse this say that. But I go find the word, it says this is what it says. Don't mind what book or chapter it says. But when we understand where we are in the diaspora, that's why a lot of people who might think, oh, we put another way the Bible. I was gifted with my wisdom of Orisha before I had wisdom of the Bible. It's not condemning it by saying, my experience, my drumming on pan, my making bow and arrow, my running on catching birds, my setting of trap, all my experience, I can see it in IFA, even before, because in the Bible don't tell you how to live life. It tell you how to worship a God. So those who want to embrace religion, you could choose any one of the religious practices. Once it's based on truth, you find the truth, you can follow it. When they talk about way of life, how we embrace our children, how do we, take care of our elderlies? How do we nurture our land? How do we really survive in life? Where is our tradition in dealing with this COVID? Are we watching over for our neighbor and making sure, okay, we have 5 yam, right now that's had to stop men from shaking on my mango tree. Yeah, because they want to buy the whole tree. But I saw the study. I just see the neighbor who come in 3 o'clock in the morning and looking for mango. The young boys who come in to pick a little feedback to go and sell to get $20. So that is my way of sustaining my thing. I can sell the tree and take a little $400 and say, right, all of the married didn't give me ownership of the tree. He gave me care of the tree. Just as we have to care the rivers, we have to care our spaces.
Sure.
So, as Orisha worshippers, practitioners of IFA, we have to remember that our way of life is not just about the worship. The way of life is how we deal with things, how we sit down and deal with things, deliberation before consultation. Sure. If a matter has been deliberated too long, then we should seek IFA's advice. We have issues that are sitting down so long, and we have people who say they practice in IFA and they will not say, hey, we need to find out what are we going to do with these lands that we have. What are we going to do with these single mothers that we have in the tradition? What are we going to do with those orphans that we have? Because you have Orisha people in gang, because we have no way to take care of them. But you see them in feast, But you're tired, say, hey, okay, but when they jump start and they into the singing, they into the dancing. Outside of that, what do we have for them to support them, to care for them? That is what when you talk way of life. So if we talk about IFA as a religious structure, a religious principle, then we need to go into a different level.
Sure.
Where is our headquarters? Where is our training school? Because if we have Popola, Samarin, Atinomo, Osho, and we have all these from different regions, and then we have who coming from Cameroon with the Haitian practice, and the other people. So if you want to talk about the religious aspect, the priesthood, now we have to have one training center where the principles can be taught. What is the priesthood? What is the practices, ceremonial rites, weddings, funerals, whatnot? That structure will deal with the priesthood. So you won't have no confusion when somebody say, oh, you have to keep ancestor prayers, you have to study, oh, what leader, you have to get, no, you have to go and look for granny, tanty this one, uncle so, nephew this, who living in Grenada. That is what ancestral prayer and ancestral veneration really was about. The family now supposed to get back to the roots of the family. So the songs you're hearing in the song not supposed to be no best village songs. 1 or 2 songs they could sing that Tanti like to sing.
Yeah.
But it's songs about the family. Remember I was talking earlier about Orikis. We have so much Orikis in Trinidad, we don't know which one is Trinidad's Oriki. When we say Palara, who is singing to? Because you can't find Palara in none of the other religious pantheon. Gurum, Ilekbo. We hear all these names. And we had nice songs saying, Ilekbo, Gurum. Are you the singer? He's not the singer. Now we have these beautiful songs. These songs has a story. These songs had a beginning. These songs has an essay. This is what we're supposed to be. Yes, we learn in Yoruba. What we learn in Yoruba for? I want to get what is the root of that. What is the root? Palara. Is it Paila? Was it a mispronunciation? Was it really a creation of it? Because many of the other words they could tell you, while they was at some river in Cuba, in Cuba, the water stirred and a spirit came out. And the spirit came and blessed the people, and these people started to worship that spirit at that river. Everybody's doing it, except us. Go in Brazil. Go in Venezuela. When they have Quimba in Venezuela, they call them demons. They're Mr. This and Mr. Blood and Mr. That and that and that and what. When you go into their history, it's issue blood, issue dragon, issue that. All them spirit that they talk, that has been invoking in the forest in Venezuela, is issues. Or if you now go back into Issue's story in IFA, and Issue was fed up and he decided what he was doing, he's lonely. He started to make himself. He make thousands of himself. So that's why we say issues every corner. Issue for Shango, issue for Oshun, issue for this one. So there's a lot of things we have to basically go into to understand. Yes, in preserve those that pass what they have left, but let me put it in a proper context. We are in the information age. This is a new age of Aquarius. We have all the tools. We know about everybody. We can go into everybody, and down to all who know about aliens now and what happening in space and who come in. But what about our Trinidad Orishas, our energies? Which point in Trinidad is Obatala strongest? Or where's Ogun energy strongest? Or where's Shango energy strongest? And where the tools can do that? Oracles, the bones, the shells, whichever tools we choose to use, even invoke a Orisha and ask them.
Someone, we are 2 minutes, Baba, and somebody asking about Vigoyana.
Your taxi, that we're going at. I could tell you a story what they tell me. I could sing a song what they singing. But where we go, what is the whole, because Orisha don't just happen. They always have an incarnation. Just as Jesus didn't happen. They had to have that incarnation for Jesus to happen.
And you know, as you're saying that, everything that is on earth, whether we see it as good or bad, the purpose is there.
There's a purpose.
The purpose is there for the building or for the transition of certain things. There are some of our ancestors who lived benevolent lives, and because they had been benevolent on their walk here on earth, they had elevated to the status of ancestor of the family. Some of them who lived exceptionally well had been elevated to become ancestors of the community, and some of them had even been elevated to become ancestors of a particular region. So that alone could tell you that, yeah.
You know, a person could also elevate to become Orisha.
Yes, I was now attend. So it shows that once you manifest your true destiny and purpose, you would become elevated to a different power in this world here, and you could only manifest to a higher level when you fully execute and live your destiny to your fullest, and not live anybody else's purpose, but live your own.
So we've come to the end of another edifying and good conversing night, you know, if Orisha way of life here. Next week we are going to have the Gog Brothers for our normal segment, you know, our normal drumming segment, you know, people. So may our ancestors continue to fight for us. May the Orishas continue being on our side. Baba Melo, I thank you very much. Shaka.
Just want to say one thing before.
Yeah, 1 minute. Yeah.
In honoring our ancestors, let us remember our elderly. Let us take care of our elderly people in this society. Let us take care of them and honor them and make sure that they are comfortable. Let us not treat them as if they are bastards. Take care of our elderly. Ashe.
So we have come to the end. See you guys next week, Monday. IFA Orisha Way of Life program right here on the Shit 919 FM.
Ashe.